Hey guys, today we got a weird one. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think you might enjoy it. So stick around and let's get things started.
Ooh, yeah, the man can't paint. It's sad but true.
So sad, so true.
Kovar can't paint, and so can you.
Hi guys, welcome back to Kovar Can't Paint. This episode is a strange one, and if it's not your cup of tea, that's okay. If you skip to the end, you can vote on what I'm going to attempt next week. I am definitely a sci-fi junkie, and I started Googling sci-fi watercolor ideas, and this photo came up, which I don't think is actually a watercolor, obviously, but I thought it was pretty cool. I am a huge Star Wars fan and have always been. And I debated for a little while on whether or not I should actually try painting that, but you know what? My theory on all this is, paint what you like. I talked about this in an earlier video, which was, I didn't want to paint these roses or flowers or something, not because I don't like roses or flowers, but I just wasn't drawn to painting that. And it seemed like that was all that watercolor was. And then, at least beginner watercolor. And then when I saw some of Niaz Hannan's work, which was much darker and more interesting, and these cityscapes, blew my mind, and I was like, oh, okay, I could do that in watercolor, that's for sure. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of Star Wars as a kid, and when I was younger, I bought my brother's his entire Star Wars collection, and I still have it, 30 years later. And then in 2011, I was lucky enough to be part of a Star Wars themed Super Bowl commercial that a lot of people remember. So yeah, I have a big connection to the Star Wars universe and always will. So I started this painting out like I did the other copy painting that I was doing by just putting it on my projector and throwing it up on my wall and hand tracing some of the major details out so that I would have a good structure. I still really don't trust myself to just do something by hand and get the scale right. I know I wouldn't be able to do that yet. I also want to thank you guys. It's been really amazing reading all your comments and all your suggestions and advice in the comment section, and just the fact that you're watching these videos is just so motivating for me to keep practicing and keep sharing my journey here as a beginner artist, and I'm learning a lot from you guys. Just in my last video, I was discussing that I was struggling because I was doing a Niaz Hannan painting, and when he would paint something, it would come out so much more darker than mine, and all of my levels were so much lighter than his, and I was attributing that solely to the fact that I wasn't loading enough paint on the brush. But one of the subscribers, Jason Mead, he messaged me and commented and said that also it may be the paints, and I am using the student grade paints there, as you can see, and that was such a great suggestion. In fact, it was such a good suggestion that my birthday's coming up in the next month, and I'm already planning to ask for some professional grade paints to go along with my kit, and maybe even some new brushes. So yeah, thanks Jason Mead for the great advice, and helping me come up with my birthday list. Please keep those comments coming. I love it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Right down there in the right-hand corner is Oreo's face. Feel free to click on that and subscribe. I was a little intimidated starting this project or this painting because I wasn't sure I had a plan. I knew that mist and those three AT-ATs is what they're called, coming in the background there. It was just levels that was really going to make it work. And I'd done rocks like these in a different painting, and so I was a little bit more confident on the rocks. And by the end of the painting, I think it was probably my favorite part, or at least one of my favorite parts of the painting. And that's just because I kind of did that in another painting earlier in another video. Oreo is definitely getting restless. He knows it's his time for a snack, and he's about to tell me, yeah, here he comes. Okay, he's happy. We're back. He'll come join us in a minute after he's licked the bowl 3,000 or 4,000 times. I think at this point in the painting, I was starting to feel like I hadn't made a huge mistake by trying to do this. Right now I'm going in with just a detail brush. I'm already feeling like I'm pretty far ahead on where I thought I was going to end up. Definitely tracing out the main image was a huge help, because that just set the template for me to be able to fill it in. I would love to hear in the comments if you guys have seen much watercolor and sci-fi style. I'm sure it's pretty ripe for it, and I'm sure it's been done before. I haven't run across much of it. I did look up how to do fog and mist, and it's definitely a technique that I'm going to have to work on and practice. A lot of the stuff I saw was about adding water to the edge of the color and kind of letting it pull into the water. I didn't do too much of that here, as much as I thought I would. Oh, hi Oreo. Good to have you back, bud. Here I'm trying to do a little lifting with a dry brush on some of the paint to pull out some of those foggy areas. Not as successful as I would like to have been, but I've moved on, and I'm getting ready to try to add some gouache. I knew that I was going to do gouache for the rocks, for the whites in the rocks. I wasn't going to leave gaps because it was just too difficult to get all those crevices by leaving the paper, I knew it was going to go back over with gouache. And then the Skywalker character, his backpack and his gloves and his boots and helmet, I knew I was going to do in white gouache. I don't know if that was just my plan. And even though I did trace that human figure, that humanoid there, the Skywalker character, it's still, I'm really not crazy about the proportions. They're a little off. They feel a little Lego to me. And he's just a little squatty. Part of it is the boots don't read, so it looks like his legs are only as long as the orange part there. But now, and then working on the lightsaber, I think I spent a little bit of time on the lightsaber because I did 2 or 3 ideas on trying to make that glow. I wasn't planning on using white gouache on the AT-ATs themselves, but I actually think it works to add this hint of metallic shine. It's a little cartoony for sure, maybe a little kiddish. I will grant you that, but it also adds like a little bit of reflection, and I think it's really cool. I kind of couldn't stop doing it once I started. The paper was still pretty wet from the initial wash. It was pretty soupy, and so I definitely hit it with the hairdryer to take down some of that liquid so I could add the gouache, particularly on these last few details. The helmet came out really cool. I don't think these red windows on the AT-ATs is actually like Star Wars. Kind of reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, right? I mean, if you know, you know. I spent a lot of time on that lightsaber trying to get it to glow more. I think I even touched it up a little bit after the video to try to see what I could do. Right here I'm filling in a little bit more just tone on that center area. It felt a little light because, you know, it should be darker underneath these guys. And the lightest point of the painting shouldn't be between their legs where all the shadows are, so kind of wanted to fill that in. Okay, and I actually kind of got better spray by putting paint on the back of a paint tube and flicking the brush on the edge. That's the first time I've ever really got a good spray on my paintings. Touching up his uniform with a little bit more yellow and orange. Thank you for watching, guys. If you want to put in your opinion on what I should be painting next, just put the number down in the comments of what you'd like to see me try. And again, guys, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you soon.
The man can't
Don't forget
paint.
to like and subscribe.
It's sad but true.
So sad, so true.
Kovar can't paint, and so can you.
It's pretty cool. I love it.